series of future talks conducted by Prayaana. Let's take a look at what Prayaana is. Prayaana is a unique employability, entrepreneurship, and innovation ecosystem for women. Prayaana Labs gives wholesome career support services right from career counseling, training, mentoring, and recruitment services all under one umbrella. Also check us out at www.prayaana.org. If you are a student or a working woman or a woman who wants to resume her career after a long break and update your skills, then Prayaana undoubtedly is the right platform for you. To join us, register at www.prayaana.in, or you can also download our Prayaana app via Play Store. Prayaana Collective PRACOL, India's first e-commerce platform that is dedicated to the empowerment of women. The platform is uniquely designed with an attractive affiliate marketing model where all the customers are given an opportunity for lifetime savings and earnings. Also check us out at www.pracol.com. It's a community hub where you can network and share your thoughts and queries with women of similar interests. We also provide membership programs and learning modules over international and well-acclaimed mentors. So check our app right now. Prayaana presents Youth Utsav 2020, celebrating the youth power of the nation. It's scheduled on 12th and 13th of August. In that, we have two competitions: Shoot the Good Filmmaking Contest and Speak Your Mind Public Speaking Contest. Steps for registering for the same are: download the Talent Hunter Pro app from Play Store, sign up with your profile and select the contest that you want to participate in and upload your video. Anyone below 30 years can participate in this contest. We've also launched our August edition of SheSat magazine, so check that out. How to interact? You can post your queries at the live chat in our YouTube channel, and the queries will be shared to the guest live and answered. Chess is a good metaphor for business competition. It is a violent sport, and when you confront your opponent, you have to checkmate the opponent with your skills. The moves you can play in chess and business are very large, as with just 3 opening moves, there are 9 million possibilities. Chess has become part of everyday language of business executives. We checkmate our opponents, we are just pawns in a game. We think 3 moves ahead. But today's session is based on the topic, what chess can teach us about business strategies. And for that, we have invited Mr. Sumit Balan, sir, CEO and digital strategist, InnoMind Technologies, InnoMind Digital Academy. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of Prayaana. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Tejal. So let's get started. I hope you are all excited about this session, and I'll tell you, because I'm a chess player and also an entrepreneur, I will be able to give you some insights how chess can teach us about business strategy. All right, so chess is very similar to business. I mean, the strategy that we apply in chess can be replicated in business. So if you are a good chess player, if you learn the game, you can apply the same strategy in business as well. So I'll just share my screen with you and walk you through some of the slides which I've prepared and tell you how chess strategy can be applied in business successfully. I'll just share my screen with you. All right, so this is my topic, what chess can teach us about business strategy. Why I'm taking this session, why I'm qualified to take this session, I will just walk you through 5 minutes. So I'm an engineer, entrepreneur, digital consultant, chess trainer, and a digital chess coach. So I do part-time chess training, and I have a program called Chess Master 2000, which teaches chess to hobby players, novices, and had to improve their game to the next level. I've been a chess player myself for the past 29-30 years. So I run a digital marketing agency in Kochi and Bangalore along with my business partner and friend Sayed. Prior to that, I was working in various roles in the IT industry in Bangalore and Singapore. So I stopped playing competitive chess due to my professional commitments. So I started learning chess. I learned chess way back when I was 6-7 years old. My father taught me chess, and since then, it was a passion for me. I mean, it was with me for the entire lifetime. And it has taught me a lot of things. It has taught me to be patient, improve my IQ and my decision-making skills, and more importantly, to accept defeat with grace and to respect your opponent. So let's see how some of the things which I've done. So I've given training and consultation to many players who achieved success in chess. I am not full-time chess coach, but part-time. I like to give training and help children and youngsters to improve their game. I find time to give chess lessons to school children. In Cochin, I give chess lessons to top-age school children, couple of hours a week. So Grandmaster Gopal was one of my earlier students, and national champion like Sanjay S. Pillai, Shruti Krishnan, Fatima, etc. were my students. They all achieved great success in their chess career. So these are some of the photos with my students, and I'm playing chess. All right, so let's start. Chess, it's a fascinating sport. It's a fascinating game. As Tejal has said in the inaugural speech, we have more than 9 billion possibilities. I mean, it is an infinite game. I mean, that is why it is so exciting. It is the number of moves that you can actually play the chessboard is infinite. The permutations and combinations are infinite. But there are certain aspects of the game which you have to learn to master the game. I mean, it is not rocket science. Anybody can learn it. I've got inquiries from a lot of parents and people who want to learn chess. Is it for nerds and people who are with high IQ? I tell them not at all. Nothing is further from the truth. Chess can be learned if you have average intelligence and if you have common sense, if you have will to learn. Anybody can learn chess. I urge you, if you're a businessman, to learn chess if you don't know it already. So, so why you have to learn chess? If you are a chess player, well, then you are already blessed. So if your answer is no, if you're not a chess player, then I would urge you to learn chess, because it is a game of kings and queens, strategy, planning, tactics. And it can be applied to life as well. There are many celebrities who have and businessmen who have got a chessboard in their home. So chess is a board game that has been around for centuries. It has to do with the art of war. There are 2 sides. We have a chessboard of 64 squares and chessmen of 32 pieces, and you have to outwit your opponent somehow and to checkmate your opponent's king. This is all about strategy, tactics, and ability to outmaneuver your opponent, and the aim is to checkmate your opponent's king. And once that happens, the game is over. Otherwise, there are situations where game can end in draw, where both sides sorry fail to checkmate each other's king. So how the game of chess where it was invented, and it was invented in 6th century according to H.J.R. Murray, the eminent chess scientist and author, History of Chess in 1913, which categorically states that chess originated in India about 570 AD. So this is H.J.R. Murray, and it's a beautiful book, The History of Chess. It explains the development of chess from the 6th century, how it traveled from India to Persia, from there to Arabia, and from there to Europe, and how the rules of the game was changed and become much more faster and exciting. And now more than 200 countries, players from 200 countries participate in this game. It is the most followed game in the planet, the most popular board game in the universe. So there's another alternative story in Indian mythology that chess, the earlier form of chess, which is called Charuranga, was invented by Mandodhari, the wife of the famous king Ravana of Ramayana. So she invented this game to, fight boredom when, Ravana was always, busy with battles. So she invented this game to, game of war to escape boredom. So if we have to believe that story, then chess is thousands of years old. So what are the benefits of playing chess? Chess improves IQ. It builds confidence, improve problem-solving skills, teach planning and foresight, and improve concentration and improve memory. And most importantly, it enhances creativity, which is very important. All these factors are needed if you're an entrepreneur and if you're a businessman. So chess has become a part of everyday life language of business executives. So when I travel around the globe and when they, when I talk to business executives, they tell me some chess language that, we have to checkmate our opponent. We are just pawn in the game. We have to think 3 moves ahead, etc., etc. So it is a common language used by business executives to metaphorically to say what they want to convey in business language, which is conveyed in chess language. So the parallels between chess and business are clearly evident. The game is about war, and specifically about protecting your king, and you to outthink your opponent who is trying to defeat you. So it is quite obvious that the benefits of chess are indispensable, and you have to come up with successful strategy and planning to in a highly competitive market if you want to outwit your opponent. Your opponent can be one to many, or it could be one person, one company, or many companies out there. So lessons learned from chess is useful in business and entrepreneurship. So you can learn a thing or two by playing chess. The lessons will prove very useful if you are an entrepreneur trying to plant your feet and control considerable market share. So it will surely improve your ability to make sound business decisions. So I urge all of you listening to this live session to, if you don't know chess, if you're not learned the game, to take up the game. It's a very interesting game, and it will help you in many ways to shape your personality, the way you think, and moving forward, it will help you in making better decisions. So you can find a chessboard at home of offices of top CEOs like Bill Gates, and sports persons. Barack Obama plays chess. Bill Clinton played chess. I remember a chess match between Bill Gates and the current world champion Magnus Carlsen, and famous personalities like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Julia Roberts. So I'll just show you some photos of famous personalities playing chess. So here. Just a second. Here we can see, Bill Gates playing against Magnus Carlsen, Barack Obama playing a casual game of chess, Will Smith. This is Che Guevara, the famous revolutionary. This is Usain Bolt playing chess. This is Humphrey Bogart, the famous actor of Hollywood, played the famous character in Casablanca. And this is Boris Becker playing with Novak Djokovic, and Gregory Peck playing Anthony Quinn. Is Charlie Chaplin playing chess? Arnold Schwarzenegger is playing Garry Kasparov. So I want to convey that even if you are a sportsman, or you're a businessman, you're in entertainment industry, if you're in a businessman, everybody has to learn chess to understand life better, and it will help you in many ways than more ways than one, which I've explained earlier. So take up that game, and I will tell you precisely why you should do so. So chess is a good metaphor for business competition. Why? So chess is a violent sport. So violent sport in the sense that you have to crush your opponent's ego. You have to crush your opponent, and not only on the board, psychologically as well. So the moves that you can play in chess and business are very large. As with there are billions of possibilities. In first 3 moves, there are 9 million possible positions are possible. There is a misconception between possible positions and possible position which is playable, which are sensible positions. So in chess, if you analyze number of sensible games that can be played without counting the ridiculous or obvious game losing moves such as queen and praise or blundering your knight, then it is close to 10 to the power of 40 positions or combinations of games are possible. And as a comparison, I can tell you that the number of atoms in the observable universe is roughly estimated to 10 to the power of 80. So that is the number of possibilities which is available in chess, and that is why I call it is an infinite game with infinite possibilities. You cannot mug up something and win a game of chess like how you do in other board games. So for the comparison of business and chess, think about how many possibilities there are in business or startups for fixing the price of the product, amount of the strategy and the marketing of your product, or getting new clients and hiring employees, etc. So in chess, enemy has to be defeated at all costs. There's no question about it. So the aim of chess is to destroy your opponent, to checkmate your opponent. So there are different strategies for both offensive and defensive play. So in chess language, you have to play. There are different styles of play. One is the aggressive way of playing chess, where you sacrifice material, you attack the king, or you can play a defensive game. Positionally maneuvering your pieces and taking advantage of opponents' weaknesses, etc. Both methods are quite useful, and the best chess players should have experience with both. That means you are a universal player. You don't have a particular style. You can evolve as water, as and when position progresses, and that's what Magnus Carlsen does. And he doesn't have a chess style. He can evolve. He can play a defensive game. At the same time, he can play an attacking game as well. So as a business person, you need to successfully navigate defense and offense because most of the time we will be faced with problems, day-to-day problems, and you have to meet the target. You have to look at the marketing and sales part, and you have to look at the accounts. So you have to maneuver yourself in an aggressive manner sometimes, and sometimes you have to play defensively. So if you have seen people playing chess, or maybe if you play, you'll notice that the opponents patiently wait for their turn. So it is a turn-based game, right? So you play, white plays the first move, then black responds, then again white plays you have to take your turn. Your white again plays play his move, black responds. So the opponent always anticipates for the next move and through the potential scenarios in their head. For example, there are three, which I'll come to it later. There are three phases of the game where the first phase is called the opening, where you mobilize your forces into the game. Second is the middle game, where all the action happens. You try strategy, planning, tactics, etc. And the end game, where there are less pieces available on the board, and you try to outwit your opponent there. So during the middle game, at least, you actually anticipate for the next move, and you have to see what the opponent might be thinking. So in business world also, you have to outwit your opponent. You have to see what opponent comes up with next. So there was a war between Microsoft and Apple many years ago, and there was a gadget war, there was an OS war, operating system war, and there was a PC war as well. So in these scenarios, when Apple has to launch a product, it has to study the opponents or the competition in the market. So it has to anticipate the next move. What are the new features the product might, the opponents might come up with? What are, if you launch a product which is which has got lesser features than the competitors, then your product might fail. So that way you had to do a deep study of the scenario or the market scenario or the business scenario, and then only you have to make the move, and which is applicable in chess and in business. So if chess is analyzed for and in SWOT analysis, it is very important to do SWOT analysis in business. If you have studied marketing, or if you're a businessman, you learn business journals, you know the term SWOT analysis. It stands for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So both in chess and business, you have to do SWOT analysis. This is you have to understand the strength of your opponent, the weakness of your opponents, the opportunities on the board, and the threats that you might face on the chessboard. Likewise, in business also, you have to recognize the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats. So it can be replicated like this. In chess, as I told you, there's opening, middle game, and end game. So in business, there is a business cycle. In business cycle, there's an expansion, peak, contraction, and trough. So what is expansion? Expansion is the initial phase of the business where you have a lot of cash flow, things are going well for you, and the business is growing. And it reaches a peak period where it is a plateau, where things are going fine, but there is no much expansion happening. Next is a recession, where there is a dip from the peak side, and the cash flow will be lesser, manpower will you'll struggle with the manpower, and sales might not be happening the way you want. Then it goes down further and reaches the depression stage, where everything is kind of chaos, and you are struggling with your cash flow, struggling with your resources. And it reaches the true period, where it is the opposite of peak, where everything is, you have hit the rock bottom, that is true. Again, there's a recovery period after true, where the things will start to improve, and then expansion happens, and then peak period happens. It is like a sine wave. If you have studied engineering or mathematics, the sine wave happens where there's a expansion, peak, and a recession. So likewise in chess, there's opening, middle game, and end game. So opening phase is basically where you deploy your pieces. Middle game is a phase where all the pieces are deployed. Then you have to try to outmaneuver and outwit your opponent. And end game is when you have to deal with the lesser pieces on the chessboard and try to checkmate your king with lesser pieces, and probably queen your passed pawn, etc. Now, let's see what lessons does chess teach you. So first and foremost, you have to master the rules of the game. Before you start anything, whether it is chess, business, or even playing cricket, you have to understand the rules of the game. If you don't understand the rules of the game, you cannot perform, right? So you cannot perform to the full potential. So before you start anything, your entrepreneurship journey, or starting a business, or starting a new venture, you have to understand what business is, what kind of business you are going to venture into. For example, if you are an IT person and working in IT field, you might not have any clue about starting a food venture. So you have to understand the rules of the game, how it works in the hospitality industry. So first, understand the rules of the game. If you jump in without understanding the dynamics of how things work, including the customer demand, market regulations, pricing techniques, and you are heading for failure. So start with understanding the rules of the game, and then you later progress into the next level where you can consolidate. And you understand the rules now, you can apply the rules of the game in your whether it is chess or in business. So number two, you have to understand your opponent. So that's very important. Chess is a game where two people take part, And that particular moment when you play your opponent, you have to outwit your opponent and win the game, not only on the chessboard, but psychologically as well. So how to do that? So for that, you have to understand your opponent, what kind of a person he is, what is his strength, and never underestimate your opponent. So just like in chess, you need to understand your competition, you understand your opponent to succeed in business. Chess players spend time studying how the opponent thinks. So we chess players, what we do is, before a game, we get the pairing. So if the game is on the next day, we get paired today. So we'll know whom we are going to play. Then we go down and take our laptop and try to find chess games played by our opponent, and figure out what kind of opening he plays, what kind of structure he enjoys, what kind of playing style he has got. This will help us to choose a structure that we might play against him tomorrow, which is uncomfortable for him. For example, if he's an aggressive player, probably we might strategize to play a very dry game with him where he doesn't enjoy those kind of positions. And the chances are that he might make some mistakes there. So this way you can devise countermeasures which will enable you to stay ahead or withstand some kind of a pressure from your opponent. And that is exactly what you have to do as an entrepreneur. Learn what your competitors are doing, and prepare what you can do better to outwit them. It is very important to know who your competitors are, what they are offering to customers at this point of time, and what you can offer better, what kind of offers you can offer better, and how you can make your product, services, and marketing efforts better than your opponents, and stay ahead of the competition. So you have to ask yourself certain questions before you venture out. You have to ask yourself who your competitors are, find an answer to that. Then ask a question, what they are offering, what their products are, how good is their product. Probably maybe you can visit them and you try to find out or figure out about their product, how the pricing of the product, and what kind of marketing strategy they are using. So all this will help you to stay ahead of your competition. Number 3, in chess, we always say that you always play to win. So there are two kind of thought process there. Excuse me, just let me have a gulp of water. Always play to win, which means that sometimes the strategy is not to win. Probably a draw will surface, but I advise all my students to, and not only in chess, but in as a mentor in entrepreneur and a mentor of entrepreneurs, that you always have to play to win. If you play defensively, inevitably you will end up in a bad position. So always try to play to win. So in chess, you have to keep the ultimate goal in mind. What is the ultimate goal in mind? The ultimate goal of chess is to checkmate your opponent. So some people, as I said, play conservatively, and hang tight to their pieces and refuse to take risks. Those people are not going to succeed. You have to take calculated risks in business and also in chess, and that way it will be easier to achieve your goals. So sometimes you have to be flexible. The position demands and position doesn't demand attacking play, so probably you have to play a defensive game. If the position demands a defensive, strategic game, play that. So be an universal player. If you're a chess player in business also, you should be flexible. You should understand, you should know when to make product combinations, marketing techniques, or in managing your resources. That way, you will always be outmaneuvering and staying ahead of your opponent, or one step ahead of your opponent. So don't rush to make a move. So there is a famous saying by Emanuel Lasker, the second world champion, that do not, if you find a good move, always search for a better one. it applies to chess as well as in business, because if you find a good move and you rush to make that move, there might be 2 or 3 better moves out there, and you will squander a chance to defeat your opponent then and there. So inexperienced players, they are very quite impulsive, and they make their move impulsively. When if they find a good move, they just go ahead and make that move. And maybe in certain occasions, they might end up, not finding the best move in that particular position. So in business also, you have to make sure that you make the best choices. So always try and take your time in making decisions. Gather complete set of information about a particular decision you are going to make, and then take a decision. So do not jump in just because you have short-term gains. Look for a long-term gains as well, and consider all your options before making a decision. That is point number 4. Point number 5 is plan several moves ahead. So this is a mistake a lot of us make, where someone makes a move and impulsively we respond to it. So chess is a game where you have to think ahead several moves so that you can outwit your opponent. So how to do that? Chess players plan their moves ahead, consider potential responses. So as a chess player, what I do is when I encounter a good move, I have a long-term and a short-term plan in my mind, right? When I play chess, yeah, it's very important to have short-term and long-term plans. So when I look at a particular position and I have a plan in mind, and I always anticipate what the opponent might think, and also several sub-variations of it as well. For example, if somebody makes a move, I anticipate what he might reply, uh, what I will reply, and he might reply to that particular move. So we can foresee several moves ahead, and that will help us to outwit their opponent, my opponent. So this is exactly that you must do as an entrepreneur or a businessman. Make a good forecast, and it is very crucial in your business success. And you also need to devise contingency plans for situations that might arise in the future. So you can't say that you'll figure out when we get there, or we'll see when we are faced with a situation. Always try to think what might happen, and also the worst case scenario of a particular decision. So in chess, what I do is, uh, if you're faced with a situation, I will think about the worst case scenario, and also the best case scenario, and also the normal scenarios which occur in the chessboard. So I always try to avoid surprises and situations. I never anticipate something which, okay, I will when I when I'm encountered with that particular problem, I will find a solution. No, always try to plan ahead, and it will avoid risky proposition, um, uh, which you might be able to avoid later. So sometimes you have to, play on the board, play by the board, and don't play by the plan. So when playing chess, your opponent consistently devises measure to undermine your plans. So while it is important to make plans, as I told you before, like we have short-term and long-term plans. So sometimes it is more, sometimes we have to abandon those plans and make adjustments to the new positions. Sometimes we fail to oversee certain things. Yeah, although however hard we try, we might end up in situations where uh, the situation is new for us. I mean, a new move is played on the chessboard, which we didn't anticipate. So we have to play by the board. What is the best possible reply to that particular position, and also try to see the consequences of that particular move as well. So while in business strategy also, competitors also apply this own to capture more market share than you do. Your aim is to aim should not be to follow a rigid set of plans. You might have a rigid set of plans for the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, but sometimes when the competition gives you surprises, you have to change your plans accordingly. So what determines your success or failure is your ability to adapt well. Adapt well is very important, and on time, and respond effectively to counter what your competitor are doing. So if you're encountered with a surprise, you have to adapt to the particular situation and plan accordingly and play by the board. Point number 7, know the value of your pieces. So in chess, we have pawns, which is valued the minimum value, and we have our knights and bishops, which has equal value. I value bishops more than knights because it has got more mobility. And we have rooks. We have 2 rooks, which has got more mobility than the bishops. And we have queen, which is the strongest chess piece on the chessboard. So queen, rook, minor pieces. Minor pieces means bishop and knight. Then then your 8 pawns. So you have to value your which one you want. Sometimes you might need a manager which is highly skilled for a particular task. So you have to value your employees, you have to understand your employees, you have to understand your customers, you have to understand your associates. So it will be easier for you to make wise decisions regarding job responsibilities, customer targeting, and much more. So like in chess, chess has got different pieces, it has got different values. So likewise, in business also, you have your employees, your customers, your associates, your investors, and know their value and play it accordingly. So point number 8, manage your resources. So your resources are your pieces, right? So you have to learn to manage your resources. Your resources are your pieces. How you maneuver them is important. A rook is higher valued than a bishop or knight, but sometimes you have to sacrifice your exchange for a better position. So in business, you have cash flow, you have your resources in your customers. So if you run out of your cash flow, then you are done. You can't do anything about it. So you need to make sure that you're not overspending. You need to have an accountant. You need to have a clear mind and a clear plan how you would use your cash flow and how you handle your expenses. No resources, nothing should be wasted. And you also need to ensure you are raising money appropriately as you go along. If you're coming with new projects and probably trying to conquer a new market, you need to find enough investment to and make sure that that investment is done in a proper way. So you have to keep an eye on your clock. So in chess, time is actually a material as well. I mean, not only the pieces, time is also material, because we only have finite time to make moves. We don't have infinite time. So in classical game, we have around 60 minutes with increment. And in rapid chess, we have 30 minutes or 25 minutes with increment. Increment means if for every move, you'll get 5 seconds or 10 seconds or 15 seconds based on the tournament rules. And in blitz game, you have 5 minutes, 3 minutes. So time is also very important. And not only time, the physical time, the clock time, you can actually make intermediate moves which will save time for you. But this will be understood only by a chess player. But please understand that time is also material in chess. So you not only have to manage your pieces, you also have to manage your time. So when you have tournament setting, the games are played in time bound, which I told you already. It doesn't matter if you're beating your opponent on the board. Sometimes you can lose in time as well. I mean, if you think infinitely, you will run out of your time and you will lose your game. So even if you have a great position on the chessboard, you have to have an eye on your clock, because Sometimes you might run out your time, and you might make blunder if you are pressured with time as well. So to prepare, players spend months. So we actually prepare games, chess players, I mean, well in advance, because sometimes we have to save time. That way we will understand certain structures, certain openings, certain formations of which that might occur in our game, and which will help us to make better decisions in on the chessboard when you play a serious game or a tournament game. So in business also, you have to prepare in advance. A wise entrepreneur can make wise decisions which might appear to be quick, but in reality, he might have taken a lot of pain to prepare himself to make that decision. So, like in chess, in entrepreneurship also, or in business, you need to value time. Next point number 10, make sacrifices. Without sacrifice, without taking risk, you won't achieve anything, right? Sometimes the position demands a sacrifice. Sacrifice means you're giving up your stronger piece for a weaker one. For example, a queen for a knight, a queen for a pawn, a queen for a rook. That is called a sacrifice. Excuse me. So in chess, you learn to make necessary sacrifices that will give you the upper hand. So you make a sacrifice because you might get an advantage a few moves later. It could be a material advantage, or it could be checkmating your opponent's king. Even if you are down with material, a checkmate actually decides the game. I mean, if you checkmate your opponent, even if you have lesser material than your opponent, that game is over. So there are situations where you have to offer a piece or a queen with the intention of gaining an advantage later on, which I've explained. In business also, you have to sacrifice sometimes to get an upper hand in your business. It could be money, it could be material, it could be giving up something you have for a long-term gain. You might gain something in the future. So next point is learning the value of patience, which is it's a very important thing. And patience is something which is by learning chess, you automatically have patience. Earlier, the time control was 2 hours for a game, 2 hours. Now we are living in faster lifestyle. So the time also got reduced to 60 minutes. So in even faster time controls, you need to have patience. So I'll tell you why. So before you can attack effectively, you have to take time to place your pieces in effective positions. Sometimes what happens is that the beginners and novice players, they go for an attack without developing all your pieces. They go for something which is a quick win. A quick win. If you go for a quick win, sometimes you end up in a bad position. If that attack doesn't materialize, sometimes you end up in a bad position and you might lose your game. So always try to place your pieces, mobilize your forces before you launch an attack or launch an offense in chess language, attack in chess language. The same idea is applicable in business as well. Avoid making rash decisions, taking rash decisions. Only take a decision when everything is in place. So if you want to start a new business, don't be in a hurry to start a new business or launch a new product before conducting a market study, market research. So without taking a market research, if you launch your product in haste, probably it will fall flat on your face. There are many instances where it has happened, where the investor lost all its money and nothing valuable came out of it. So always take your time, have patience, do the market study, market research, and understand your target audience before taking a plunge. So never underestimate your opponent. That is very important. Sometimes what we do is, we are so confident that, you will say that, okay, no, let the competition come. I'm better than them, and I will win anyway. So that kind of attitude won't work in chess or in business. You sometimes, even a weaker player or weaker opponent can surprise you and you might lose that game. So in chess, we always have to assume that the opponent will see through your strategy and will be ready with the counter. And so when I play chess, even with a novice or a beginner, I always take that person seriously and never underestimate them and make weak moves. Because one weak move and you're gone. Maybe that game is gone forever. Likewise, in business and organizations should make an effort on whatever they do, plan ahead of time, and assuming that they are totally exposed. They have competition. Even a giant like Reliance or Apple can be defeated by a entrepreneur which has got a beautiful idea. So always do not underestimate your opponent. So make the best out of your situation and always make the best move in chess and also in business. Take every competitor seriously. And this is another important point. Always be psychologically ready for your competitor strategy. Psychology plays a very important role in chess because chess is a mental game. So if you are not if you are psychologically weak, even if you can squander even a winning position, because in a competition, what happens is that sometimes you end up in a winning position and you don't know how to win, and there'll be butterflies in your stomach and you make mistakes after mistakes. So that should not happen. You can communicate with your opponent subtly and try to understand his plan. So always be psychologically ready for competitor strategy. They can make a surprise move. Even if you are in a winning position, they'll make a move to make life difficult for you. That time you should not flinch and squander a good position. Likewise in business also, you could be actually winning. Everything is going fine for you. Sometimes you are faced with a situation and you might lose the plot, and everything will crumble down right in front of your eyes. That should not happen. So number 15, create a balance between skill and intuition. So intuition plays a great part in chess. You can learn chess all your life. I mean, even the great masters like Carlsen, Kasparov, Karpov, Fischer, Morphy, Steinitz, Anand, Kramnik. I mean, great men have studied chess all their lives, but still they have not been able to conquer the game of chess. And sometimes the possibilities are so huge that we cannot anticipate them. So skill is one thing, and intuition is yet another thing. That is an X factor in chess. And also in business, sometimes you have to make intuitive decisions when you're faced with a situation, especially making a sacrifice or especially taking a risky decision. So your intuition comes with experience. It comes with certain skill sets as well. You're faced with similar situations before, or you intuitively know that this situation demands this action. That is something which nobody can teach you intuition. Actually, it should come from within. So there is a balance in chess between intuition and analysis. There's always a human element that cannot be replaced. Nowadays we have chess engines which is much stronger than a human being. If you play a chess engine like a Stockfish or a Fritz or a Hirax, there's no chance that you would beat them, because it uses powerful processors and powerful algorithms to and heuristics, the search methods to find the best move in the position. But sometimes these engines won't be able to make a move, a brilliant or beautiful move like a Michael Tal or a Gary Kasparov or a Viswanathan Anand or a Paul Morphy. That is an X factor humans only have got. I think no automata can actually automate the intuitive process. So chess is an infinite game of millions of possibilities. So therefore, it is not possible to know each and every plan categorically. So in moments like that, some moments you have to take a decision by intuition. So as an entrepreneur, you need to find that balance. It is what thinking outside the box is all about. Sometimes in the market scenario, you make a decision based on your experience, based on your logic, your common sense, your that voice from within. That paradoxical decision, or a decision which cannot be explained by logic, which can give you rich dividends. So that imagination is something which is a unique factor, and no automata, no computer can replace that. It is also the key to creativity and a great achievements, and maybe the difference between success and failure in certain situations in chessboard as well as in business. So be it unique and marketing campaigns, new and unique products, launching new and unique products. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes we know intuitively that it might work. So that is about the chess, and the 15 points I want to talk to you. I want to tell you about how chess and business, are interconnected and interrelated. So I'll end the session with a couple of words of wisdom. These are not mine. So in chess and in life, you can't take your moves back. So you make a move and that's it. You cannot take it back. In life also, in business as well, you cannot take back your move. So you have to think very hard before you leap, before you make a move in life and in chess and in business, in any aspect of your life, for that matter. That is why the great Gary Kasparov, he gave a speech in Harvard, how life imitates chess. And these are the words spoken by him by Kasparov, that in life and chess you have to use your intuition sometimes, and sometimes your best opponent can make you much stronger player. For example, if you're playing against a great opponent, your competitor is an authority in that industry, and you want to beat that person. Then you have to be better than them, right? You have to, for example, if you want to beat Reliance, you have to come up with something unique to beat Reliance in their game. So Kasparov always used to say that it is Karpov, the great Anatoly Karpov, the predecessor of Kasparov, who made him the great player that he is, because Karpov pushed Kasparov to play much better than he normally does to beat him, because Karpov was also a great player. He's still great. I mean, the kind of games that he has played, and no ordinary mortal can beat Karpov or Fischer or Kasparov. So if you have to beat your opponent, you need to have a great opponent, so that he will push you to be great in your area. So always keep this in mind. And next words of wisdom is that if you want to succeed in business, you have to be ruthless. And that I learned it the hard way. If you're a soft-hearted person, if you have a kindness in your heart, if you are compassionate, all of those are all good virtues to have. But it cannot be applied in business. You have to be ruthless, and in chess as well, you cannot have a kind heart. If you are crushing your opponent, if you want to beat your opponent, and you have a winning position, you just have to win. You cannot say that, okay, I feel sympathy towards my opponent and I should let him go. No, you have to beat him, you have to checkmate him. There's no sympathy there. It is the rules of the game. And in chess, like in war, and business is also a kind of war, you have to be ruthless to win. And this is exactly chess is all about, and this is exactly what business is all about. So I've come to the end of the lecture. I'll take questions. So I have a program, Chess Master 2000. Those who want to join me, join that program, they can do so. I can, send this link, and you can join my classes if you want. This is a program for anyone, because my mission is to um, mentor others and teach them what I know, because I believe that knowledge multiplies by sharing. So I can share this link with you, and if you want, you can join this program. It's a very simple program, actually, in an 8 weeks program where you can learn chess. The beautiful game. If you're a businessman, you should definitely learn chess. So that's about it. I'll take questions now.
Thank you so much, sir, for all your words of wisdom. We have some questions. First question is, as we know, chess has basic, intermediate, and advanced level. So to
Yes.
start with, what basic things will you suggest for the beginners who wish to build their business?
See, chess. You see, chess is a vast area. You have to start from scratch, of course. If you don't know the game, you need to understand. As I told you in the slides, you have to understand the rules of the game to enjoy the game. If you don't know the rules of the game, if you're with your half baked knowledge, you cannot enjoy chess. So I recommend you can join my program, or you can join some other program to learn chess. I will actually give the link to you, Tejal. You can share it in the channel.
Sure.
If they want to learn, of course. And there are many programs out there actually. So if you're a beginner, learn with the basics, with the rules of the game, and it's a beautiful game to learn. And if you don't learn chess, then you're missing out something in life. You will regret not learning this beautiful game.
Sure. So second question is, startup is a big challenge for all the entrepreneurs, but once they start, the challenge is maintaining it. So any suggestions on how to
Can you
maintain
come
it?
again, Tejal? You just broke. I didn't get
Yeah.
the
Am I
question.
audible now?
Yes,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
Okay, so startup is a big challenge for all the entrepreneurs, but once they start, another big challenge is maintaining it. So any
Yes.
suggestions on how to maintain it?
First and foremost, when you start something, you need to understand your business first, right? If you don't know about the business, for example, if you're going to start if you're going to start something in the hospitality industry, and if you're not from hospitality industry, you need to learn what it is before venturing out. So sustainability basically happens when you don't understand your market, you don't understand your product, you don't understand your resources and your business. Once you understand, take that pain to understand what you do. Even in doing job, you cannot blindly do it, right? You need to earn it. So entrepreneurship, there is no shortcut to success. You have to learn what you're doing. If you are a digital marketer, or if you are doing something related to IT, you need to learn it. You cannot say that you don't know anything. You will appoint staff, and they will run the show. Then invariably you will end up losing money. So I always advise everyone to learn what they start. I mean, whatever startup they are going to start, always try to learn about it.
Right. So next question is, any suggestion for the business king on how to avoid being checkmate?
Yeah, that's already explained in the slides.
Yeah.
So you have to be ahead of your competition. You have to understand your target market. You have to understand your competition. You have to understand the cash flow. You can't blindly do anything. You have to make the right moves. You have to understand what kind of position you stand. Make a competitor study is very important, and what kind of product you are going to launch in the market, what kind of services you're offering, and what your competitors are might be doing. So that way, like in chess, see, if you have listened to my entire lecture, I've explained it entirely in that lecture, actually, what
Yeah.
you have to do not to get checkmated. You have to checkmate your opponent.
Yeah, that's right. So next question is, how will you relate your life with chess? Can you just describe it?
Well, chess is I'm getting an echo.
Okay. How will you relate your life with chess? Can you describe it in short?
My life or life in general?
In general, or
Yes.
even your life? Yeah.
Yes. So chess is, chess is actually, very much related to life. You have to make the right decision at the right time. You have to, the timing is also important. If you are, if your timing is wrong, even if you make a right move, probably you might lose. And you have to understand your opponent. If you don't underestimate and understand your opponent, you might make weak moves and you might lose. Don't make any hasty decision. Always think over your decisions before you make a move. So all these factors are, and also trust your intuition sometimes. You cannot always trust on your skills. You have to sometimes trust on your intuition.
Right.
Then, yeah, so all these factors, and you have to know when to attack, when to defend, and what kind of position you have in front of you. In life also, we come up with different scenarios where life throws surprises at you.
Right.
Even if you anticipate something that this might happen this way, you might have planned it, but sometimes life throws a surprise at you, and probably you will you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So you have to anticipate that as well, or probably you have to make a decision based on the position on the board. Like you have to make a decision on that particular moment, which will be beneficial for you. And make sacrifices sometimes, take risks. Without taking risks, if you are just playing it safe, you won't achieve what you want to achieve. So if your aspirations are high, definitely you have to take risks in life. If you are not a risk taker, then your life will be, you will end up making draws. You won't win a game.
Right. Okay, so last question is, any measure that you would like to suggest to raise interest about chess in the young minds?
Yes, so I have launched a program which I've talked about, right? So, I mean, this is an 8-week program. Probably I can send you some of the recordings of that sessions and all, where the idea is to create more and more chess players. So this is an 8-week program where I will teach chess to those who wants to learn the game. Not the age is not a bar. I mean, which area you're from, nothing is a bar here. I mean, even if you're 60 or 70, you can learn chess. And there are health benefits for chess. It can prevent Alzheimer's. If you're 50 plus and if you learn chess, it will grow antennas in your brain, and it will it actually exercises both sides of the brain.
Right.
Yeah, so the chances of getting Alzheimer's, or you can get out of boredom as well. During COVID times, this is a good pastime to have, and you're not harming anyone. And the investment is very minimal. You have a chessboard, and you find an opponent. You can play a game, or you can play chess online. There are many softwares and platforms available like PlayChess, Chess.com, ChessBase. All these platforms are available, so it's a good pastime to have.
Great.
Definitely, I want everyone to learn chess, and you can join my program. I'll be launching it in a few weeks time.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure,
sir. Sure, sir. Sir, and in coming 10 years, where do you see the future of chess?
Chess is now, see, chess is, as I said, it's thousands of years old. I mean, according to a study by Dr. Murray, chess was invented in India in the mid 580 AD, 570 AD, and it survived and it evolved over the years. It was invented in India. It was a primitive form of chess called Chaduranga. The rules of the game were a little bit different at that time. Like, it was a combination of chess moves. Pieces are almost the same. You have horses, you have like knights, rooks. It is called, chariots or elephants during that time. And there is an aspect of luck also in that game, where you have to throw a dice as well to make a move. That is called a Pagida or Chaturanga that you can see in Mahabharata, where the Yudhishthira lost all his kingdom and his wife and his and his brothers, and he had to go in exile. So that is a form of chess. So it evolved all the time. So Arabs, Persians actually took chess from India to Persia, and from Persia it traveled to Arabia. Arabians loved chess, and during that time Ottoman Empire and the Arabian Empire was flourishing, and from there it went to Europe. Spain, France, and all the European countries took chess seriously, and they made subtle changes in the rules of the game and made it much more faster and popular as well. So in next 10 years, not only 10 years, I mean, it will survive until eternity. As long as human beings are there, they will enjoy a game of chess. And I would say that it is a skill set you should learn before you die. If you don't learn it, then you will miss out the fun. And that is period. I mean, there's nothing more to say to that.
That's right. That's right. So with this, we come to an end of this session. Thank you so much, Sumit sir, for all the enlightening information that you just shared. I'm sure
my pleasure.
You're very successful in raising the interest of chess in everyone who is viewing this. Thanks.
Yes, that is one of my mission actually, to integrate chess with life, chess with business, and promote chess extensively worldwide. Among my network and beyond that as well. I want to create more and more chess players and I want more and more people to enjoy this game, because for children it is very important to learn chess, because as I said, as I mentioned in my slides, that it improves IQ, it improves concentration, it gives wings to your imagination, and it will improve your concentration, memory, lots of factors. So I want everyone to learn chess. I want chess to be a part of school curriculum as well. So I'm thinking about popularizing the game that way. India, and by the way, India is number 4 in the world, after Russia, China, and United States. We are number 4. We have more grandmasters and international masters. Chess is very popular. Vishwanathan Anand popularized chess in the 80s, and since then we have a lot of grandmasters. We have around 64, 65 grandmasters. Indian chess coach, Indian national team coach, R.B. Ramesh is a friend of mine. And I've got a lot of friends in the chess fraternity, and it's wonderful that chess boom has happened, and it's only because of one person, which is Vishwanathan Anand. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Anand. He's been an inspiration, and all those great players who have played the wonderful game of chess, which has inspired me. I want to take this opportunity to thank each one of them as well. And before I go, I want to thank my father. He introduced me to chess when I was 6 years old, and I am indebted to my father for teaching me chess. I mean, he is my first guru. So prayers to him for giving me the opportunity to learn this wonderful game.
That's great, sir. I'm sure one day even you will be the father figure of chess in the world, I assume.
No, I'm a mere mortal. I'm just doing my bit. There are many eminent people out there who's doing their bit to actually popularize the game. I'm just doing my bit as only.
All the best to you, sir. Thank you so much once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, you can also share your feedback to our YouTube channel as a comment. For advertisements and sponsorships, mail us at joinprayaana@gmail.com. Tomorrow, we are coming with another big session, Pursuit of Happiness, taken by Andrea Preda, who is a HR professional. And this is the schedule for upcoming week. Thank you so much, Sumit sir. Thank you so much for coming, and thanks to all the viewers.
Thank you.
With this,
Thank you
I
very much.
conclude the session.